Yeah, this game is good. Witchfire is currently in early access on Steam, and I've been absolutely hooked. Developed by the Astronauts, a team of ex-People-Can-Fly devs, you play as a witch hunter sent to kill a witch in a faraway land. It's fast-paced, brutally hard, and incredibly satisfying to play. If you are a fan of recent Doom games or Destiny, I'd highly recommend giving this game a shot. But what makes Witchfire stand out, and how does it fare as an early access title? Let's find out. Witchfire is a dark fantasy shooter where witches and monsters are real and they're at war with humanity. You take on the role of a witch hunter sent by the church to kill the witch of the Black Sea and recover a mysterious artifact. While it's unclear if the game takes place in the real world, mentions of the Vatican and the Black Sea hint at a dark, alternate history.
In a distant land controlled by one of the witches, papal scouts discover a wreckage of a ship that had been lost for several centuries. It carried a valuable artifact, one that could change the course of the continent. Only witch hunters called prayers can face a witch and live. You are one of them, anointed by the Pope himself.
After arriving at an abandoned fortress and completing a brief optional tutorial, you're set loose to figure things out on your own. The fortress acts as your hub area, where you'll prepare for missions and upgrade your weapons and abilities, which I'll cover later. The world is bleak and dark, littered with ruined buildings, abandoned villages, and their remnants of battle. It's a cool setup with much of the story shrouded in mystery, very similar to Dark Souls' way of storytelling, and that won't be the last time I mention Dark Souls. Witchfire is a run-based game. From the hub area, you'll step through a portal and select a map to teleport to. Once you spawn, it's all about running around, killing enemies and collecting loot. And that includes Witchfire, the game's version of Souls from Dark Souls. Defeating groups of enemies grants random buffs that persist throughout your run, or until you die. These buffs can include abilities like reloading when you dash or immunity while switching weapons. Speaking of dying, you'll be doing a lot of it. Death sends you back to the hub area, and everything you've collected during the run is lost. However, the game leaves a grave at the spot where you died, giving you a chance to re-enter the map and recover your items, if you can survive that long. You can also leave whenever you want through portals on the map, and the game often encourages you to do so. Staying too long or taking too much damage will draw the witch's attention, prompting her to send hunting parties after you or calling down powerful curses to kill you. This is also why you need to stay mobile during combat, dodging, jumping, and avoiding damage while managing your stamina meter. If you manage to avoid damage for a while, you'll enter a focused state. In this state, you can dodge while locking onto an enemy, revealing a red orb floating around them. Shooting this orb stuns the enemy and increases the damage they take. Avoiding damage feels incredibly rewarding because the controls are so responsive. Before long, you'll be jumping around the battlefield while dodging shots and stunning enemies left and right. It reminds me a lot of the gameplay in the recent Doom games or Destiny 2. Combat is fast-paced, methodical and precise, yet thanks to the minimap and the damage indicators, you never really feel lost in the chaos. You always know when an enemy is about to attack, even when it's behind you. You can carry 3 weapons into a run, 2 primary weapons and 1 powerful demonic weapon with limited ammo. You also have 2 spell slots on cooldown and other gear such as relics and rings, each with unique abilities. There are 2 ways to exit a map. One is dying and the other one is making it through a portal, which can often be easier said than done, especially when you have a horde of enemies chasing you. When you manage to safely extract from a map, you'll return to the hub where you spent your Witchfire to level up, use coins to research new weapons, and upgrade your gear at the workbench. You can also dive deeper into the arcane by completing special objectives such as defeating bosses or exploring certain areas, and then interacting with a tome in the basement of the hub area. This seems to be the main way to progress in the game. Ranking up lets you earn more souls from enemies, research more weapons and spells, and unlocks new maps. But it also makes the witch send stronger, better equipped enemies after you. So you better be ready before pulling the trigger. I briefly want to mention the sound design in the game because it's absolutely fantastic. The music is really appropriate, but the real star of the show is the level ambience. The guns also sound incredible. The sound design combined with the fantastic dark fantasy aesthetic is a deadly combo. Before I finish, I want to touch on some of my complaints. First, both you and the enemies can get stuck in the environment. It's usually fine because the devs added a unstuck button to the pause menu, but it feels brutal when you die because of it. I like the look of the hub base, but it's massive. Every time you want to level up or access the research mirror, you have to run there, and then back again to the portal. While functional, the size can make repeated trips feel tedious over time. Finally, the game is grindy. You'll be running the same 3 levels a lot, killing the same enemies over and over, and while new enemies and unlockable secrets add a variety to the game, you have to love the gameplay to stick with it. And that's it. Those are my impressions of the early access of Witchfire. If you're looking for a fast-paced dark fantasy RPG that pulls influences from Destiny, Tarkov and Dark Souls, I highly recommend it. But while the combat and progression systems are solid, the limited maps and some of the environmental bugs are a reminder that this is still an early access title. The devs are active, and I cannot wait to see what this game will look like in 1.0. Thanks again for watching, I really appreciate it. As you'll notice by the title, this is more of my impressions of Witchfire rather than a full review of it, because there's still a lot missing. Like, according to the devs, they still want to add NPCs to the game, and there's still like 3 maps that are not ready yet, though there's still much to come. If you want more videos like this, let me know. I always like checking out games that are still in development, and these devs seem like really solid people. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.